And I said, why don't we use the Toronto Zoo as a location? Good morning, everybody. Yes, I know, this is Lunchtime Live number 14. But as you know, Mikey here and Suzanne, along with our big girls, Moon Pie, or Deja Vu and Moon Pie, we can choose anytime we want. So, there you go. It's a lot of fun to go that way, to go that route. Anyway, here we are with our one and only this week, since taking a little more time off this week than usual. Haven't felt really good lately. Um, so Captain, I'm sorry I wasn't there for your StreamYard with Jay and Jim and them and Daniel. I wasn't feeling good yesterday, so I did poke my head in and did some working, and seemed to be doing well. So yeah, everything's going well as far as the time travel concepts and everything else working. So it's all good. Okay, so we are now on season 3, episodes 11 and 12 for this new week. Still covering, like I said, Get Smart and then TOS. We're almost done with TOS. Yeah, we're almost done. And then all we got left is Get Smart. And I did talk to our niece, Charlotte, and I hope next, not this weekend, obviously, coming weekend, but the following weekend on November 29th and 30th, we will try to get a 1v1 on this StreamYard here at ChattyBloggerMS, which stands for Mikey Sue's. So, yeah, we'll try to get our niece up here and we'll talk to her and live stream, StreamYard, the whole bit. And people in the chat can ask questions and comments and everything. But just remember to be civil, no hostilities. Yeah, so very cool. Alrighty, so let's see. Yeah, it's very early, I know. And I usually start these pretty early, and yeah, I really don't have control over that. I'm just wide awake. Thank God for my wife who gave us some wonderful pancakes this morning with the actual the Mrs. Butterworth. I almost said Aunt Jemima. Yikes! Don't want to go that far. Okay, IMDb. Here we go. Wake up, dead man. A Knives Out mystery. Nice. That sounds fun, I guess. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, ready. Let's go to the 1965 to 70 series. Always fun. Okay. All right, so this morning we are looking at episodes that, like I said, 11 and 12, and for season 3. And the first one is called The Mild Ones. I'll bet that was named after The Wild Ones with Peter Fonda, probably. Max and 99 joined a motorcycle gang to save a kidnapped prime minister. That premiered, or the air date, was Saturday, December 9th, 1967. 208 people had seen it, so it got a 7.6 out of 10. Yeah, practically just raised it to a B, so we'll just give it a B grade. Same thing for the next episode, which was called Classification Dead, which came out 2 weeks later on 2 days before Christmas, Saturday, December 23rd, 1967. You got to understand, this whole time, I'm only 2 years old. And my brother, he's 1. Yeah, or less than 1. He's a few months. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's see. Max must find an antidote after he is poisoned by a chaos agent. 7.9 out of 10 from 208 people. So there we go. Both of those episodes do get a B grade from me. That's all we need. I like it when it's that simple. All right. For the first episode here, The Wild Ones, that was directed by Gary Nelson. The writers were William Rayner and Miles Wilder. And of course, it featured the Same three cast of stars: Don Adams, Barbara Feldon, and Edward Platt. Brute was played by Michael Bell. We're going to look at him. And I think we're also going to take a look at the wonderful Steve Allen. We know that he did Late Night Show before there was Late Night Show, and he is uncredited, but he appeared in this episode. So we might as well talk about Steve Allen. Why not? Because we already just covered. And by the way, I want to thank Chance Bartels and Mark Malkoff, Malkoff, for giving an awesome interview and allowing me and Al's Place to come in and help out at the end about the Love Johnny Carson book that he just put out, which is out on Amazon, and it's also out there on bookstores everywhere. Bookstores, yeah, that too. So, all right, so we'll look at Michael Bell and then Steve Allen. So let's go ahead first and take a look at the trivia. Trivia! Okay, and I was correct. The title is based on the Marlon Brando movie, The Wild Ones, from 1953. Well, I didn't get Peter Fonda right. I think that was Easy Rider, but hey, I'm entitled to a few faux pas. Yeah, that's French. Okay, so yeah, Marlon Brando movie, The Wild Ones, of course. All right. And it doesn't like there are any goofs for this episode, so that's cool. I didn't see any. No, I guess not. That's cool. All right, so let's go ahead and then take a look at the two gentlemen we're going to look at from the cast and crew. Alrighty. Now, I want to address something really quickly that someone asked me the other day, or well, not really the other day, about a week ago or so. Somebody asked me in a comment. They said, "Well, didn't Mel Brooks and Buck Henry write some of the early episodes, or some of the episodes?" I said, "Yes, they actually when they." Because it's created by both of those gentlemen. So when they first started, they did some writing, but then they were able to, after a while, when they realized that the show was going to take off and was going to come really well, that's when they decided to go ahead and let other writers come in. Some comedy writers, by the way, because, both Mel and Buck are very well known for comedy writing. So, yeah. So that's why they did it that way. But that was a good question that somebody asked me. So I remembered that, and I said, "Yeah, well, that's why when I mentioned different writers, they're comedy writers." Okay. All right. So Michael Bell, who plays the Brute, he is still alive today. He's an actor, but also additional crew he worked on and sound department. He was in a animated show called Ratchet and Clank. Well, actually, I'm sorry, that's a video game. Ratchet and Clank All for One in 2011. He did a voiceover for that. He was born July 30th, 1938. So, as of this taping, as of this live show, he is the age of 87. That is so cool. Michael Bell is an American voice actor who's known for voicing Gleeman Vox from Ratchet, Deadlocked, Raziel from The Legacy of Kain video game series, Chas Finster and Drew Pickles from Rugrats, and several Smurfs from the Smurfs cartoons. He also voiced in the Transformers, the movie Challenge of the Super Friends, and he did live action acting for several episodes of Star Trek and Dallas. That's cool. Okay. All right. So he did a number of voices in G.I. Joe, the TV animated series. From 1985 to 1986, his voice appeared in 67 episodes. In the video game Soul Reaver 2 as Raziel in 2001. In the Transformers, the movie, he did several voices there in 1986. And in 2005, in Ratchet Deadlocked video game, as Gleeman Vox and Lawrence, a voice in 2005. According to IMDb background information, the very last thing he's done so far is one episode of The Summer Hikaru Died, where he does an additional voice, Old Man Takeda. And that came out this year. Um, it's season 1, episode 7 called Ketsui, uh, is the name of the episode. And then I also want to mention that he did Star Wars Tales of the Underworld, and his voice was a dock worker in that TV miniseries. And season 1, episode 6 is called One Good Deed. He had a voice in that. So, wow. Yeah, he's doing pretty good. 87. 87 years old, Michael Bell. Yeah, I do remember him. He's one of the best current voice actors still out there. Still breathing. That's pretty cool. All right. All right, now we'll take a look at the late Steve Allen. And as you all know, at the beginning of the year 2000 is when he passed away, and he was a writer, actor, and producer. He also appeared in Louis Armstrong's Black and Blues in 2022 in a guest spot. It was a flashback. Steve Allen was born on December 26th, Boxing Day, 1921, in New York City, New York. He was a writer and actor known for The Benny Goodman Show in 1956, Casino in 1995, and The Player in 1992. He was married to Jane Meadows, who you knew from The Honeymooners, and Dorothy Goodman. He died on 30 October 2000 in Encino, Los Angeles, California. He was 78 years old. That is cool. And he was nominated for 6 Primetime Emmy Awards. All right, he played himself in 1995 in Casino. He was Benny Goodman in the Benny Goodman Story from 1956, played himself in The Player in 1992, and in 1960, he was in a Steve McIntyre, or McIntyre, whatever it is, College Confidential movie in 1960. All right, according to the background, the final thing he worked on was Meeting of Minds. It was a TV series, and it ran from 1977 to 81, and he appeared in 25 episodes of that. And of course, as you know, he was the first of the Tonight Show. And then when he left, that's when the great Johnny Carson came in and took over. So, very cool for Steve Allen. Rest in peace, my friend. All right. Right, now we will proceed to our next episode. All right, the mild ones. And this next one is Classification Dead. And this was directed by Norman Abbott. The writers were David Ketchum. So David Ketchum, who played Agent 13 in a lot of those out of the way places, like gym lockers and things like that, he actually wrote for this episode. That's pretty cool. There's also Bruce Shelley, who wrote for this episode as well. All right. And I think I did like this one slightly better than the other one, I believe. Okay, so we're going to look at John Fiedler, who played Mr. Hercules. He's the one who voiced Piglet for the Winnie the Pooh series. And then we're going to look at Anthony Joachim, who is the proprietor in this episode. So we'll look at those two gentlemen today. And I think this will probably be the last time, because I know I did look at John Fiedler for something else. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, we'll take care of him today, and then we won't worry about him later on. So always make sure I cover my ass. That's what she said. Okay. As Smart steps out of Dr. Abbott's office, his image freezes, and we hear his voice over dialogue with the physician. This is a parody of NBC's concurrent series Run for Your Life, 1965, starring Ben Gazzara. After Smart steps out of the doctor's office, the name on the door reads Abbott Norman, MD. This is to represent this episode's director, Norman Abbott. Several remarks in the Goofs on episodes mentioned being able to tell Don Adams had a stunt double. Adams was a World War II combat Marine veteran and a drill instructor. He could have done his own stunts if the insurance provider had signed off. Oh, that's pretty cool. All right, let's look at the Goofs here. Okay, Winnell Wood box. This is some continuity, factual, revealing. Okay. So, with continuity, when Elwood Box arrives early to collect Max's body, he asserts that due to Max's impending death, his apartment is now government property. It is established throughout the series that Max rents his apartment from a private landlady who does not know he is a spy and whose ownership of the premises would be unaffected by the circumstances of a tenant's death. When the chief and 99 are trying to find Max in the health club, they go through a door marked gymnasium. However, when the angle changes, they are walking through the door marked Mr. Hercules. As Max and 99 are investigating the gym, he walks into a door, leaving an obvious makeup stain. As the camera changes view while he walks through the door, the mark is gone. Okay, so we now have a factual error, and then there is a spoiler attached to that. So we'll go with the first one here. In the health club, the doors leading from the hallway into the massage rooms and gymnasium have deadbolt locks on the outside to lock patrons in, when they should be on the inside to lock the intruders out. And in the spoiler, when Chaos Agent Janet is holding Max and 99 at gunpoint, she's holding an M1911 type gun. The hammer is forward. This gun is single action. It cannot be fired unless the hammer is cocked back first. They could have jumped her. Yeah. Okay, and then there's a revealing mistake. During the fight scene in the gym, Don Adams' obvious stunt double can be clearly seen in several shots. Very cool. Alrighty. Of course, no soundtrack, so let's see if there was any other filming besides the Paramount. There we go. I always check that just to make sure, like if they go outside and do outside stock footage or some shots, I always like to talk about that. So, very cool. All right, so let's see here. Okay, so we'll take a look at John here again. All right. And John Fiedler, as we know, actor, and he did soundtrack, he did voices, voiceover work. He passed away. He was born February 5th, or February 3rd, 1925, and died June 25th, 2005. He was 80 years old. Typical of busy character actors, Fiedler made his face and voice recognizable to millions. Many know the bald-pated Fiedler as therapy patient Mr. Peterson on the Bob Newhart Show in 1972. Others might first recognize him for the 1968 movie The Odd Couple and spin-off TV show The Odd Couple in 1970, or perhaps even from the Broadway play that preceded them. Even kids would know that helium high voice from animated Disney features like Robin Hood in 73, The Fox and the Hound 1981, and of course Pooh's Heffalump Halloween movie in 2005 posthumously. All right. Now, in 2000, he voiced an old man in The Emperor's New Groove. That's a Disney one. 1957, he was juror number 2 in 12 Angry Men. In 1968's The Odd Couple movie, he played Vinny, and in 1969, he was lawyer Daggett in True Grit with John Wayne. Okay, and he came back to do The Emperor's New Groove with Kronk's New Groove, a video where he plays Rudy the Voice posthumously in 2005. And in 2005, he also was in Pooh's Heffalump movie where he voiced Piglet. And finally, his final Piglet voice over was done in Pooh's Heffalump Halloween movie. So, yes, the voice of Piglet. There we go. All right, so that is John Fiedler. Okay. Now we're looking at Anthony Joachim, who is a proprietor. Okay, we did lose Anthony in 1978. Actor, he was born on January 14th, 1892 in Jersey City, New Jersey. He was an actor known for One Girl's Confession in 1953, The Big Fisherman in 1959, and he did an episode or two of The Outer Limits in 1963. He was married to Edna Candler Mann, and then second time married to Gertrude Ann Coyne. He died on 10th April 1978 in Waynesville, North Carolina. He was 86 years old. Okay. All right. In The One Girl's Confession, he played Father Benedict. In 1953, in 59 on The Big Fisherman, he played the Sadducee spokesman. In 1959, he was in one episode of Mike Hammer, the TV series, where he plays Rembrandt Klosky. And the name of that episode is Season 2, Episode 14, Tattoo Brute. All right. And then in 1964, as I said, he played one episode of the Outer Limits TV series where he was Dr. Mordecai Spasman. And in that episode in 64, it was called Season 1, Episode 17, Don't Open Till Doomsday. Nice. All right. And he was the Brotherhood of the Devil. I don't want to say the S name. But anyway, he played a witch in that in 1971. Maybe that's what killed him. And we'll never know. But anyway, Anthony Joaquin. Alrighty. All right. So let's see. So let's get to the original Star Trek series. Like I said, Season 3, Episode 11. Here we go. The final season. Yay! Can't wait till I'm done with this thing. All right, let's see. Okay, so Season 3, Episode 11 is called Wink of an Eye. That air date was Friday, November 29th, 1968. A group of aliens who exist in a state of incredible acceleration invade the Enterprise and abduct Captain Kirk. It got a 7.3 out of 10 from over 3,500 people. From over 3,500 people. So that's basically a C plus B minus. I'll give it a B minus because I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was done pretty well. And then, and then a week later on Friday, December 6th, 1968, is The Empath, which is episode 12. And trapped in an alien laboratory, Kirk, Spock, and McCoy meet an empath and are involved in a series of experiments. Yeah, this one is not one of the best episodes. It got a 6.5 out of 10, which is basically a C minus. Yeah, I hate to say it, but I did give it a C minus. I think it was one of the weakest episodes. But as you know, I mentioned it previously, I don't like to give any of the original Star Trek episodes, I don't like to give them anything lower than a C minus if they deserve it. This one certainly does. It certainly deserves it. So, yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't a very good one. Over 3,600 people have seen this one and rated it that. So, yeah, I agree with that one. Okay. So, let's see. All right, so get to Wink of an Eye. Before we do that, Captain Infinity, Time Travel Police. Welcome, Captain. Welcome, Captain. Hope you're living long and prosper, Captain. There you go. Yeah, it's good to see you, Captain Infinity, Time Travel Police. Remember, everybody, he's making a nonfiction comic book about fictional time travel. I hope I've said it now correctly. But you can correct me later on if you want. Whatever you want to do, Captain. Okay. So yeah, it's called Time Travel Police. Obviously, make sure that when the comic book is ready and it's ready to come out there for everybody, make sure you buy it, please, because it's probably going to be a great descriptor of how time travel fictionally works. Yeah, so that should be cool. Yeah, definitely. And also, don't forget to catch some of his shows on his own YouTube channel under Captain Infinity Time Travel Police. Make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button this morning if you like this video later on and you rewatch it. And don't forget to share this with all your friends and family. And also, please don't forget to hit that awesome bell. That one right there. So that you can be notified of any future events and Podblast and podcast and live webcams like this and live streams. So, yes. Thank you, Captain. I appreciate you being here and lurking and being here for me. Appreciate that. Okay. And I know it's early for me, but I'm pretty sure it's not too early for you. All right. So let's take a look at Wink of an Eye here first. Okay. Oh, we got to go back for a minute. Sorry. Okay, there we go. So the director was Judd Taylor. The writers were Arthur Heineman, Gino Kuhn, and Arthur H. Singer. And of course, he had the usual suspects Shatner, Nimoy, and Kelly. We're going to look at Dila, played by Kathy Brown. And then Rael, who was the jealous suitor of Dila and got pissed off because Shatner used his suave Captain vibes to turn Dila on, was played by Jason Evers. So we will take a look at those two persons after we get the trivia and everything else done. All right. Okay, the remastered version of this episode premiered in syndication the weekend of January 13th, 2007. New shots of Scalus from space, as well as an enhanced matte painting of the surface, were inserted into the episode alongside said inserted. Yeah, right. Alongside more realistic phaser effects. This was the first remastered episode from third season to air and thus featured a new opening titles sequence. Walter Koenig, who played Chekhov, did not film any new footage for this. Chekhov appears briefly in the opening scenes, but it's stock footage from earlier productions. He takes no part in the plot. This contains the second time in the original series where Kirk is seen in what can be presumed to be a post-coital situation. He is seen zipping up his boots while sitting on the edge of his bed with Dila standing nearby arranging her hair. This is loosely based on an H.G. Wells short story called The New Accelerator. A cartoon episode of The Lone Ranger 1966 also used this plot. The hyper-accelerated movement plot was also used in The Night of the Burning Diamond from 1966, which was produced by Gene Kuhn and Lee Cronin. Okay, and here is a spoiler for everybody. With a successful antidote to the Scalosian water, the Enterprise should have kept a supply of the Scalosian water to accelerate themselves when it would have been helpful in emergencies, as when Spock fixed the Enterprise in seconds of real time. However, it must have been deemed too dangerous for routine use. That's probably what it was. Okay, and remember we don't do goofs or quotes. And let's take a look at the soundtrack, making sure it's the same by Courage and Norman. There we go. All right, and let's see. And there we go. And this was filmed during the month of September 1968. It just gives the month, doesn't give any special time frame. But again, done at Paramount Studios in stages 31 and 32. All right. So now we'll take a look at the actress and the actor. All right, so we'll look at Kathy Brown. All right. Unfortunately, we did lose Kathy Brown in 2003. She was an actress, but also writer and producer. Appeared in a movie called Man's Favorite Sport in 1964. Kathy Brown was born Jacqueline Sue Brown she had Sue as her middle name, honey, on September 19th, 1930 in San Luis Obispo, California. She got her break in TV after appearing in a Los Angeles production of Tennessee Williams' play Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, making her TV debut in 1957 in The Gray Ghost, The Sheriff of Cochise in 1956, and Gunsmoke in 1955. The following year, she made her movie debut in the B movie Murder by Contract, 1958. But it was mostly television that was her métier. She made numerous guest appearances too. Born September 19th, 1930, and died April 8th, 2003. She was only the age of 72, so she did do a lot of great stuff. Okay, so besides this episode of Star Trek we're talking about that she's in, she also appeared in Police Story in 1974 as Sheila in that TV series. And that was season 1, episode 15, called The Ripper. All right. And then in Hondo, which was a TV series in 1967, she was Angie Dow. That's a good Western. And she was in 17 episodes of that. And then the last one I mentioned, Man's Favorite Sport, she plays Marcia in that movie in 1964. So about 4 years before she did this role in Star Trek as Deela. So very cool. All right, and according to IMDb background, the final things she worked in was The Love Boat. She was Mary Ann Walker in that TV series in 1980, and she appeared in a three-part episode in two of those parts, which was episode 2 and episode 3. Um, she was in The Family Plan, The Promoter, May the Best Man Win, and Forever Engaged, and there's more of it there, but we'll just cut off. But those were two episodes she appeared in back to back. So cool. All right, so that was the mini bio of Miss Kathy Brown. Rest in peace. Okay, now we'll look at Jason Evers. All right, we also did lose Jason Evers in 2005. He also worked on background soundtrack, and he was an actor. He was in the movie The Brain That Wouldn't Die in 1962. Blonde, good-looking Jason Evers played many seemingly ordinary, respectable men who often turned out to harbor malign intent, twisted motivations, or complicated personalities. Although probably best known for playing Dr. Bill Corder in the 1962 cult film A Brain That Wouldn't Die, Evers did much more than meets the eye. He quit school to join the Army during World War II. There you go, sir, for your service. And he later decided to become an actor after seeing such Hollywood stars as John Wayne and Humphrey Bogart. His first break was in 1960. So he was born January 2nd, 1922, and he died March 13th, 2005, at the age of 83. So as we said, he was Dr. Bill Corder, and in that, he actually changed his name. Well, at the time, it was Herb, Herb, Herb Evers, in 1962. He was Captain Coleman in that great film in 1968, The Green Berets. He was Jason Monroe in 1977 in the movie Claws. And that's CLAWS, not the other one. And yes, of course, I remember him. He was the E2 in Escape from the Planet of the Apes in 1971. Very cool. All right, according to the background information, his very last appearance was in a movie called Basket Case 2, where he played Lou the Editor in 1990. And I did want to mention that he did appear in the A-Team. He was in 1986. He was Taggart in that. The episode was called Season 4, Episode 20, Mission of Peace. Yeah. So that was the mini bio of Jason Evers. Very cool. Alrighty. All right, now we'll look at the final episode for this morning, The Empath. One of the worst episodes, according to many people in the Star Trek original series. For me, it was okay, just not great, but I do have to give it my lowest grade, which was a C minus, and it wasn't that good. So it was directed by John Ehrman, and it was written by Joyce Muscat and Arthur H. Singer. And so we're only going to look at the empath played by Catherine Hayes. She's Jem. Oh, here's another one though. Lol. Lol is played by Alan Bergman. So yeah, we'll look at those two. Yeah, I was just thinking of looking at the woman's mini bio, but I figured since Lol, the other guy is available in it. So, all right, cool. All right, this was DeForest Kelly's favorite episode. Oh, nice. All right. In the sequence of Jem absorbing the boils, Catherine Hayes was strapped to a board and kept absolutely still while makeup was applied. Stop motion photography filmed the progression. The few moments of the scene took 8 hours to film. This episode contains another one of McCoy's famous "I'm a doctor, not a quote." In this episode, it is coal miner. So I'm a doctor, not a coal miner. After McCoy is tortured, his tattered uniform shirt is an older velour shirt rather than the new polyester double knits that were used in the third season. The Empath was written by Joyce Muscat, one of only 4 fans who were able to sell scripts to the original series, the others being David Gerald, Judy Burns, and Jean Lisette Arouest. Nice. Okay, we do have one spoiler. Catherine Hayes has no lines at all in this episode. Well, duh, she's a mute empath. That's kind of like a duh spoiler, right? Yeah, exactly. Okay, no goofs, no quotes. Let's see here. Soundtrack should be the same. There we go. Alrighty. Now we'll look at Catherine Hayes' career. Let's see her mini bio here. All right. Okay, unfortunately, we did lose Catherine Hayes back in 2022, about 3 years ago. She not only worked as an actress, but she was also worked on soundtrack. She became best known for her 38-year-long stint as the fiery matriarch Kim Sullivan Hughes, one of the most prominent characters on the daytime soap As the World Turns in 1956. She was born Kay Piper in Princeton, New Jersey, to Roger and Daisy Hayes Piper, and grew up in Joliet, Illinois. After junior college, she attended the prestigious Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois. Very cool. She was born July 26, 1934, and she did die March 25th, 2022, at the ripe old age of 87. All right. So, in As the World Turns from 1972 up to 2010, she appeared in 1,776 episodes as Kim Sullivan Hughes. And let's see. Yeah, so she was Jem in this episode of Star Trek. She did also appear in 1965 in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. She appeared as a character named Mary Pilgrim in season 1, episode 22, called The See Paris and Die Affair. Nice. And then she did appear for one episode in Hawaiian Eye in 1962. She played a character in that series named Jean Morgan, and the episode was called Season 3, Episode 22, Total Eclipse. Could they have got Total Eclipse of the Heart song from that? I don't know. Let's see. I just want to see what her final appearance was. Let's see here. I know. Let's see here. Whoa. Keep going. Keep going. Okay. All right. So according to the information here, the final time she appeared as Kim Hughes was an episode that was dated October 27th of 2006. October 27th. Okay. So that was her final appearance. Nice. Okay. So that is the mini bio of Catherine Hayes. Rest in peace. All right, now we'll look at Alan Bergman. All right, Alan Bergman did pass away in 2017. He was not only an actor, but he also was a director, and he worked on additional crew. He was born on October 17th, 1927, in Brooklyn, New York. He was actor-director known for Star Trek, The $6 Million Man in 74, and Flying High in 78. He was married 3 times to Ruth Rickard, Maureen Ray Potts, and Dolores Margaret Mann. He died on August 31st, 2017, in Van Nuys, California. He was 89 years old. Okay, so besides, like I said, Star Trek as well, in The $6 Million Man from 75 to 76, he appeared in 2 episodes. In season 2, episode 18, he was the ESP spy, where he played Charles Lund in that, L-U-N-D. And then in season 3, he was season 3, episode 20, The Bionic Badge, where he played Mr. Berman in that. So, cool. In Flying High, the TV series, he directed one episode in 1978. It's called Season 1, Episode 7, Beautiful People. So that, and then Down to Earth, which was a TV series from 1984 to 1985, he directed 4 episodes, and they are 3 of them from season 2. Episode 7 is JJ's Dream. Episode 8, which is called Uncle Roscoe's Watch. Episode 9, which is Luster Gets Stuck. And in season 3, episode 3, he directed the last time Art or Bust in 85 on Down to Earth. Cool. And let's see, in 1998, according to the IMDb here background, of Light and Darkness, which was a video game, he voiced Father Zidonius and a lecturer in that in 98 before he passed. So there is the mini bio of Alan Bergman. All right. So we are done for today, folks. And again, I want to thank Captain Infinity Time Travel Police for appearing this morning. He didn't have to, but I appreciate that all the same. And of course, my beautiful wife, Suzanne, for monitoring the chat. All right. So let's go back here and we'll retract so we can take a look at which episodes we're looking at next time, which are, and I better write it down before I forget. So we're looking at season 3 for next week. NW. Okay. So we're looking at season 3 and we're looking at episodes 13 and 14 of both Get Smart, TS, and TOS. There we go. I've got it written down and it's all set. All right, cool. For next week. And we may also do episodes 15 and 16 as well. I just don't know how next week is going to turn out. So in the meantime, we'll just we'll go with those next week. So all right, so from TOS, we've got Elan of Troyes, which is episode 13. And 14 is Whom Gods Destroy, which of course features Garth of Azor. Very cool. The Shapeshifter. All right, and then let's go ahead and look at Get Smart. Let you know what episodes are coming up on that one. Going back to Get Smart here real quick from season 3. And 13 and 14. Okay, so we are looking at The Mysterious Dr. T, which is episode 13. And then episode 14 is called The King Lives. Yes, that's what it says. So, all right, so those are all 4 episodes that we'll have next week in our continuing review series. All right. And again, Captain Infinity, as I said, thank you so much for being here. Okay. So, on behalf of all of our 34 subscribers, which remember, you're also family members to us extended and not just subs, we want to thank all of you. And this episode is dedicated to all of you in the prayers and love and support for all your families, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. For everybody there. As my beautiful wife, Suzanne, says, leave everything in God's hands as the minister of the Universal Life Church that she's a part of. And also our brother Larry, who recently did a video, by the way, on Be Yourself Adventures, where he traveled to the Navajo Reservation there in Arizona. So make sure you check that out. He tried some Indian bread with honey. Oh, ooh, he went to Tuba City briefly, and he also went to the Dinosaur Tracks National Monument, which is a big, huge prehistoric monument there in the middle of the desert. And he took his son Tyler with him, who also filmed the episode. So yeah, make sure you go to Adventures, the latest video. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, don't share, and of course the notification bell. All right. And lastly, of course, my brother Matt Arnold, who says to me, remember, you never know where you'll hear or see me next. So make sure that you go ahead and check out wherever I go. Today is Tuesday, so I may be able to do uh, my friends Hilljack Happy Hour, which are my friends Sabrina and Sean. So hopefully I'll get a chance to do that tonight. I hope that's tonight. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much it this week, and then nothing going on really for me or Suzanne or anything really coming up this weekend. This weekend is our meal, our free meal downstairs, so we'll have that. But as far as that goes, uh, like I said, the following week is because I'm only doing the one. I think I'm just gonna do. I think for now, but I might do two more. Like I said, after 13, 14. But that'll be sometime next week. I don't know what day, I don't know what time, but whenever I decide to do it, I'll do it. Um, and then hopefully Suzanne and I are going to get to go see Now You See Me, Now You Don't, which is hopefully the third and final movie in the installment of the Now You See Me series. It does bring back Woody Harrelson, Morgan Freeman, Jesse Eisenberg, and others, and Dave Franco. So, yeah, make sure you guys check that out. And Rosamund Pike plays a villainess. So it's going to be very good. I think it's going to be very good. And that's Friday, November 28th. We hope to go see that. And then, like I said, that weekend on the 29th or the 30th, please, everyone, look forward to a special 1v1, hopefully, live stream that I can do with our niece, Charlotte, of Agent Charlotte Nightstar, the werewolf. And we're going to talk about her life. We're going to talk about her brand new book, The Time Seer Odyssey. I hope I said that right. And we'll see what her future plans are. And she's got a lot of different cool AI videos, music videos that she shot, that she added her own, lyrics and everything. So very cool. So make sure you check out Agent Charlotte Nightstar. Uh, on the YouTube pages there. And make sure you subscribe. Yeah, please do that. That helps her a lot. Okay, so as for myself and for Suzanne and our beautiful cats, Deja Vu and Moon Pie, I want to thank all of you for coming here this morning, especially you, Captain. Thank you so much. And one like, I appreciate that. And we both do. And as we like to say here, God bless America, God bless Canada, God bless Europe, and the rest of the world. Remember, we only have one of it, so make sure that you do work towards being the guardians and the stewards of any future world that your kids can enjoy and their kids and so on, landmarks and landscapes and everything. And hopefully, sometime in this century, we can finally achieve uh, an entire worldwide peace, not just, but a fragile one, but it will be fragile, but excuse me. Hopefully we can make it worldwide. So with all that, we hope and pray for all of that. So, and I almost forgot. And on behalf of Gene Siskel, who used to work for the Chicago Tribune, and his family, allowed me the grace and benevolence to go ahead and say, and now the aisle's closed, which he used with Siskel and Ebert at the movies back in the 80s and 90s. So thank you, Gene, for that. See, I'm not feeling very good, so I'm sorry. Anyway, take care, everybody, and we'll see you next time on ChattyBloggerMS, which stands for Mikey Sues. God bless you all.